Hello, good morning, friends. I hope you all are safe at your place. I hope you all are enjoying your new way of learning this online classes. Today, I'm here with your lesson number 6, the 100 dresses part 2. Okay. And in this lesson, you will come across the the remaining part of this lesson number 5 and the remaining story of Vanda Petronsky. Okay, let's start with the introduction. In continuation of the previous lesson, the 100 races 2 reveals why Vanda Petronsky had not been coming to school. The Petronsky family decided to move to a big city where no one would care about their unfamiliar name. On hearing the note, Maddie and Peggy got anxious as they realized that they would never get a chance to making amends for all the teasing they had done. Both the girls get relieved only on learning that Vanda liked them and had decided one of the 100 dresses drawings to each one of them. So here this is the continuous part of your lesson number 5, and in this lesson 100 dresses 2, the revelation is that why Vanda Petronsky had not been part of the school, and Petronsky family decide to move to a big city where no one care about their unfamiliar name and surname. And Peggy and Maddie got anxious as they realized that they would never say sorry to Vanda for this rude act. And at the end they come across the things that Vanda liked them and had decided to one of the 100 dresses drawings dedicated to each one of them. While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. Miss Mason read it several times and studied it thoughtfully for a while. Then she clapped her hands. Attention, class! Everyone back to their seat. When the shuffling of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Mason read, I have a letter from Vanda's father that I want to read to you. Miss Mason stood there a moment and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant. The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately. Her manner indicated that what was coming. This letter from Vanda's father was a matter of a great importance. Everybody listened closely as Miss Mason read the brief note. Now the meaning of listen closely is listened with attention. So now this is the first scene come across in front of us, that everyone was having a look at the amazing drawings Vanda had drawn and admiring it. When the monitor of the class brought a piece of note from for Miss Mason read that note multiple times as she couldn't believe what was written in it, and finally she decided to gather the class to read it loud and clear. It was a letter from Vanda Petronsky's dad. She silenced for a while, which created tension in the minds of her students. She adjusted her spectacles, which made it clear how important that note is. She began reading it, and everyone listened carefully. So now Miss Mason handled the situation of this class, and then she gave such a gesture and posture that it will create such a tension, and student come across the things that okay, this letter belongs to Vanda's father and it is important. And she clear or adjust her spectacles, means it suggests the importance of this note by Vanda's father. And then she began to reading it and told everyone that listen that letter very carefully. Dear teacher, my Vanda will not come to your school anymore. Jack also. Now we move away to a big city. No more holler, Pollock. No more ask why funny name. Plenty of funny names in the big city. Yours truly, John Petronsky. Okay, so now the letter began with a salutation to Miss Mason. Vanda's father conveyed his intention of not sending both of his children, Vanda and Jack, to school anymore. He mentioned that they were shifting to another city, a big one, where no one would care enough about their strange name and surname, because in a big city there are lots of people having weird names and surnames. Vanda's classmates thought her name was weird and funny because Vanda was a Polish girl, Polish immigrant, belongs to Poland, and she is a Polish immigrant to America and thus had an unfamiliar name. So that is why his father wrote a letter that my children will not come to school because we are moving to a big city where no one cares about weird name and weird surname. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them, and whipped them on her soft white handkerchief. Then she put them on again and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. I am sure that none of the boys and girls in room 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feelings because his or her name happened to be a long, unfamiliar one. I prefer to think that what was said in thoughtlessness. I know that all of you feel the way I do, that this is a very unfortunate thing to have happened, unfortunate and sad, both, and I want you all to think about it. Okay, after hearing what was there in that letter, everyone was left speechless. And Miss Mason too was stunned, and thus she cleaned her glasses, wore them again, and spoke to the class in a low voice. She conveyed her disappointment to the class and asked them to ensure her that nothing was done purposefully to hurt Vanda. She gave the children benefit of doubt that everything they did was done in unintentionally. She said whatever happened was sad and unfortunate. She advised the students to introspect about it. So here she says that whatever uh, you all guys had done, that is unintentional, and that you didn't do anything wrong with a purposefully. You, if you hurt Vanda's feeling, then it probably unintentional act of doing or making her sad. The first period was a study period. Maddie tried to prepare her lessons, but she couldn't put her mind on her work. She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach. True, she had not enjoyed listening to Peggy ask Vanda how many dresses she had in her closet, but she had said nothing. She had stood by silently, and that was just as bad as what Peggy had done. Worse, she was a coward. At least Peggy hadn't considered they were being mean, but Maddie, had thought that they were doing wrong. She could put herself in Vanda's shoes. Here, the meaning of put herself in Vanda's shoes. It means to compare yourself with that person's. Here, Maddie compare herself as Vanda. She find that now she is at place of Vanda. So everyone began thinking about what was written in that letter and how each one of them made Vanda feel. In their first period, Maddie couldn't concentrate on her studies as she felt sick for not stopping Peggy at the right time. Had she stopped Peggy from playing that race game with Vanda, things could have been different. Now here she is suffering from her guilt that at the time when Peggy was trying to make fun of her, at that time she had to took the place, stand by her or took place for Vanda, and she won't be able to do that, and now she is suffering from this guilt kind of thing. because she won't be able to stop Peggy at the right time. Had she stopped Peggy from playing the dress game with Wanda, things could have been different. Although Maddie never teased Wanda, but nor did she stop Peggy from doing it. She won't be able to do or stop Peggy from doing or making fun of her. Although Maddie never teased Vanda because she know that she belongs the same category, or rather than one level up category from Vanda. But she never stopped Peggy from doing this kind of such a mischievous behavior. Maybe was because in our in Hindi there is one saying that um, what was that अन्याय करने वाले से ज़्यादा बड़ा गुनहगार अन्याय सहने वाला होता है. और whenever you are seeing this kind of activities in front of you where you feel that no, this is not the good idea or this is not the good thing, this is whatever is going is wrong, then you must take a step, you must stand by that person, and you must rebel for that bad thing. And here she is suffering from the same thing, that I wouldn't be able to take stand for Vanda. Peggy's intentions were not never to hurt Vanda, and she was not aware that her game hurt her feelings. Maddie, on the other hand, was aware of its impact, yet she stood silent, which made her a coward for not standing against what's wrong. Here it suggests that Maddie was coward and she won't be able to fight against wrong, and that is why she is equally responsible for the misbehave which had done with Vanda. Peggy is not only one, but Maddie was also similarly responsible for misbehavior with the or this kind of game which is played by Vanda. Goodness! Wasn't there anything she could do? If only she could tell Vanda she hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. She turned around and stole a glance at Peggy, but Peggy did not look up. She seems to be busy studying hard. Well, whether Peggy felt badly or not, Maddie had to do something. She had to find Vanda Petronsky. Maybe she had not yet moved away. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her, and they would tell Vanda she had won the contest, that they thought she was smart and the 100 dresses were beautiful. Now, filled with guilt and regret, Maddie wished for a chance to apologize to Vanda, and she was also hoping that Peggy would be the thinking about Vanda too, and she will also be the part of this kind of act of apologizing with the Vanda to the Vanda. She takes a look at Peg, but she was busy studying. Regardless of what Peggy was thinking, Maddie decided to take some action. She hoped that Vanda hadn't yet moved away, and she could tell her how sorry she was and appreciate her 100 dresses, that they come across the things that she is very talented, she won the contest and they were wrong, and they feel sorry what they did to her. But I don't think they get a chance. But let's see what happened to her. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not." So Peggy had the same idea. Maddie glowed. Peg was really all right. The two girls hurried out of the buildings, up the street towards Boggins Heights, the part of town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp, and dismal. Damp and dismal means wet and sad, here expressing a state of hopelessness. And forbidding means unfriendly or threatening in nature, means very dark or very gloomy atmosphere. And here this damp and dismal suggests this hopelessness. The day after the school had ended, Peggy asked Maddie if they could go and check if Wanda has moved or not. So they really wants to apologize to her, and they wants to clarify that she had gone or not. Maddie was satisfied at the thought that they both had same plans of apologizing to Wanda. She thought that Peggy also want to apologizing, but she had another thoughts. But though she is ready to go with her, so they decide to go and apologizing to Wanda. Both of them hurried to Boggins Heights, the place where Wanda lived, in order to find her. During this season, the place was generally wet and the atmosphere was sad and hopeless. Here, the atmosphere is sad and hopeless. The place was generally wet. Okay, so they start their way or journey towards the Boggins Heights. Well, at least, said Peggy gruffly, I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb. And gee, look how she can drew. Maddie could say nothing. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her, and how wonderful the whole school thought she was, and please not to move away, and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. So now here Peggy tries to comfort herself by murmuring that at least she didn't call her a foreigner because she was an immigrant. Neither did she make her feel different from for having an unfamiliar name. She was always in the delusion that Wanda had no idea that those girls were making fun of her. Above all, Wanda is such a great artist too. Maddie, on the other hand, couldn't say a word. What she hoped for is chance to confess, make amends, appreciate her, and try to stop her from moving away. In fact, she even thought of conveying her idea to protect Wanda if anyone tried to trouble her in any way in order to reach the place before night. They hurried. So basically, there are lots of thoughts were roaming in her mind. She was fighting with her thoughts. It's kind of thoughts storm in her mind. Lots of thoughts are there that she wants to apologize to her. She wants to announce that she had won the competition. She hoped that she got a chance for a confession. She wants to appreciate her work, and she wants to say that you are a great artist, and they are hurried to reach the place before the night so they can uh, have this meeting with Wanda. It's a possible thing for them. I think that's where the Petronsky lived, said Maddie, pointing a little white house. Wisps of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. The house and its spare's little yard looked shabby but clean. It reminded Maddie of Vanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still, there was no answer. Now, here we find the description of Wanda Petronsky's house. So, they show a white little house up there, which they thought was the place where Wanda Petronsky lived. The house and its surroundings were shabby but clean, just like Wanda's worn out blue dress. Thin bunches of grass grew along the path that lead to the house. They resembled thin kittens. No one could be seen around the house. They knocked both at the front and the backyard doors, but to their disappointment, there was no answer because Petronsky had lived for their journey to the big city, and they are disappointed because they didn't get chance to say sorry, to apologize with Vanda, and they won't be able to announce her as a winner, and also won't be able to appreciate her artistic side. There was no doubt about it. The Petronsky were gone. How could they ever make amends? They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she has gone now. So, what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. To make amends, to show that one is sorry by doing something else. So now the Petronskys had gone, and along with them, Maddie and Peggy's last chance to make amends too has gone. In order to comfort herself, Peggy started saying that Vanda must have looked for drawings inspiration only after she started her dresses game, and hadn't she done that, Vanda would have never won the drawing competition if she wasn't being mean to her and she was not making fun of her. So because of her, she'll be able to make such a good drawings. So here Peggy don't want to understand or don't want to accept that she being rude or mean to the Vanda. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head, for if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. But that night she could not get to sleep. She thought about Vanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. And she thought of the glowing picture those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. At last Mary sat up in a bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought this was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. Now, Maddie also tried to convince her after what Peggy said, and that if this is the case, she doesn't have to feel so bad. But later that night, she couldn't sleep as she was thinking constantly about Vanda's little house, her faded blue dress, both shabby but clean, and her glorious 100 dresses that were all lined up in the classroom instead of the closet. Finally, she sat in her bed and started thinking deeply. The hardest she would have ever done. She pressed her forehead tightly in her hands, which indicated that she was really trying to concentrate, but she won't be able to forget herself that she had done wrong with Vanda. She had to take a step or stand by her, but she won't be able to. She didn't able to do this kind of things, and this guilt constantly rule over her mind. She was really trying to concentrate. After thinking so much and so deeply, she come to a conclusion that she will always stand against the wrongs and will never say nothing when she has to. Means now she decided, I will help, I will stand by another. I will not bear this kind of such a insulting thing or such a bad thing or thing next time. I will definitely speak out for this kind of things. So Maddie constantly can't think anything, and she was constantly in this war of thought, and she was suffering in this pain of guilt that why she couldn't stand for Vanda, because she is also belongs to the category from Vanda, and she is also, if Vanda is not there, then she would be the target of Peggy. Then if Vanda will if no one can to stand by her, then what she felt. And this kind of thoughts constantly mm, constantly come and go in her mind, and she won't get that peace of mind. Okay, if she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had a strange name, she would speak up, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. She had no way of making things right with Vanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. Picking on someone means criticizing someone. Now she decided that she would never let anyone make fun of others because of their appearance, name, clothes, or where they come from. She would not shy to speak up against Peggy even if it meant losing her friendship. She could not go in the past to make amends with Vanda, no matter how much she wanted to. But from now on, she is never going to let another person feel embarrassed or unhappy again. Now, and finally, she decided that she won't be able to do anything in the case of Vanda Petronsky because Vanda is not there. She has already left the town, and now she won't have that chance to take a stand for Vanda and say sorry or apologize to her. But now on, she decided that I won't let that happen. If someone is doing this kind of rubbish thing in front of me, though she has to lose the friendship of Peggy, she won't be stand silent. She will take a stand for them, though she has to lose the friendship of Peggy. She never going to let another person feel embarrassed or unhappy again. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Vanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the constant and telling Vanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing please forward on the envelope. Okay, so on Saturday, both of them sat together and decided to write a letter to Vanda, telling her about the contest, asking her where she is living now, how that place is. No matter how much they wanted to apologize to her, they couldn't summon the courage to do so, and thus ended up their writing a friendly letter as if Vanda was their good friend. They mailed it to the Boggins Heights with a please forward written on it because they didn't know her new address, and they sent it to the Boggins Heights that please send it to the Vanda Petronsky because they didn't knew the mail. They really want to apologize, but they won't be able to write it down in words. But they wrote a beautiful letter to Vanda as they were like her good friends, and it suggests that now they are really go through the things that Vanda was there. Now they are come across the skills of Vanda, and now they are feeling very bad for their rude and inhuman behavior. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back, so maybe Vanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. So here days passed and there was no answer. They won't get any answer from Vanda. But the letter did not come back. Letter did not come back also, so they can understand that Vanda had received the letter and she is not giving the answer. But for that they won't blame her, because whatever they had done to her, it is obvious that she won't be able to reply, or she is not interested perhaps. And that is why they said that it is if she is not writing back to us, then we won't be blame her for this, because they know what sort of act or what sort of things they had done to Vanda Petronsky. And they, at least they have a faith that okay, Vanda had received the letter, so perhaps one day she forgive us, and they will give a answer letter from Vanda Petronsky. To sum up, I would like to request all the students that do please do not pick on someone regarding their weird or a different name, surname, or their way of living, the way they are wearing their clothes. It doesn't matter. Treat as they are your friend, and they are human, and they have right to get respect from others, no matter what background, what area they belongs from, what kind of background, what kind of area, what kind of culture. It really doesn't matter. Every human being has a right to give respect and to take respect from one another, and this is the call humanity. And everyone has to learn to be with another person in a polite way. It will create your character, it will make you as a good person, as a good character. And in life, if you have less money, then it's okay, but if you have a less character, it won't be help you anywhere. Your character is your big certificate. So always be polite and loving to you, towards your friends, your classmates, your parents. It is, don't do as it is your duty, do as it is your responsibility. Or rather, you want to be, you have to do this to get, or as a sake of humanity. I hope you like this lecture. I hope you understand the idea. This is the half portion. The remaining half portion we will continue in the next lecture. Till then, have a good time ahead. Bye bye.